Spooky Chris podcast. My name is Chris Ringler. I am the aforementioned Spooky Chris. This is my once-in-a-while podcast, usually focusing on horror. This is going to be an oddball episode where I talk about something a little different. I am an author and occasional weirdo living in Flint, Michigan. What I wanted to talk about today was, recently, it's crazy how darkness kind of follows a timeline sometimes. Like 44 for me, I just turned 45, was a pretty dark year in general. And you have these kind of these waves, through. It's funny because you can go down to the day, like, oh, I had a good part of the day, a bad part of the day, but life comes in waves often, and it seems like right now a lot of people I know and care about are being pulled under the waves a little, and so I felt compelled to do this. And it's funny because I've started and stopped this podcast several times now, because I just it's one of those where it's too big of a topic, and I'm not sure I know what to say, but I'm going to still say stuff. That's kind of how I do things. 44 wasn't a great year for me. There's a lot of loss. It started and ended with death, and it was a lot of struggle in between. And, we all go through that, and I think the older we get, you start seeing the specter of death get a little more clear. I've definitely known some people that saw it earlier, but, as you get older, your family gets older, your loved one gets older, we know how it goes. But also you start dealing with the pressures of work, with your own kind of vision of what your life should have been, and then there's the stress of children, and it's a lot. And I think we all try so hard to kind of fake it to make it, and I hate that phrase. I mean, it's not inaccurate, because sometimes you just got to kind of portray the part until you are the part. But like, my fear is always that we fake it so long that we don't understand what it is to actually have made it, that we don't appreciate when the good stuff comes, and we don't do the things that we need to be happier and better, and we get so wrapped up in faking it that we lose the genuineness. And I mean, you see that in all of our social media, is so many people are busy trying to kind of portray this life of romance and happiness and travel and adventure and like fulfilling work, and it's people have it, everybody can has it, but we show that without the struggle, without the cost, and without the down. And I mean, you don't want to wallow, but you also we need more genuineness now more than ever. And I think this lack of genuineness has started to damage ourselves and in society, because we're all chasing a dream that nobody necessarily has fully. I mean, nobody has a life without struggle. Nobody has a life without failure. Nobody has a life without these dark times. Those lives don't exist for anyone. Some people's lives may seem easier. In some people's lives may be easier in some ways, but I mean, no one has an easy life. That's not how life works. It's not. And I think we forget that. I think we get so caught up in the imagined, happiness of everybody and what everyone else is doing that we miss that. And it stinks, because I think we lose connections, we lose friendship, we lose lives, because we are all too caught up in this fantasy and not the reality. So we're not, and And again, I get it. I get, people don't want to wallow, especially because, and it's interesting because, like, if you show genuineness and your vulnerability, people kind of tune out because they don't want to see it. And it's not that they don't care about you; it's that they hate seeing themselves in that reflection. They hate, they want the puppies and the kitties and the laughing babies and the vacations because it gets them out of, the shadows that they have in their own lives. And we need to amplify both our own happiness and our own, like, successes and triumphs as much as we do our pain and our sorrow, because both make up who we are. And we need more empathy for one another and more compassion. We all find holes that we fall into, and and these holes can be small or big, and we can often definitely make them much worse than they need to be. And sometimes the best you can do is just kind of struggle through until you can reclaim yourself. But I think we put on these blinders and miss one another so often. Just like I think we forget how strong we are. I mean, that's one of those things that it's a shame that the country is kind of in this weird place where we devalue art, where we devalue creativity. It's like we need these things. We want these things. We watch TV. We go to movies. We listen to music. We love all that stuff, but we don't value it. And I don't know if it's kind of like the YouTube generation, because anybody can get a camera and go and shoot a YouTube video and try to get famous. I don't know if it's the system, like the system devaluing things. I mean, I think that's part of it. I think it's, it all goes hand in hand. We systemically kind of devalue it because we don't think teachers earn their money. We don't think, we go to art shows and go, God, why is it worth, how can that painting be worth that much money? We decide that we're the experts. And it's a shame because the arts truly help us escape. I mean, we forget, in valuing this art and saying, like, oh, I don't want to pay $1 for a song. I don't want to pay $1 for an ebook. We forget all the work that went into it, all the time, all the effort, all the experience, all of the training, all of the education. We forget all of it. It's as if, like, we decide that we could just do better. And some of that is frugalness, but a lot of it is just a devaluation of the very things that make us human and that make us sane, frankly. Sometimes we need that Danielle Steele book. Sometimes we need that Thomas Kincaid painting. Sometimes we need Backstreet Boys. Sometimes we need that stuff that just makes us smile. And we devalue it. We devalue people that like it. Sometimes we need the things that nourish, the heart and soul, as it were, and not always the mind. Some things aren't meant to be elevated. Some things are just meant to be. Popcorn still fills you. It doesn't mean it's a great, healthy food choice, but it still nourishes you. It still fills you. We're so caught up in how we think things should be, and we miss out on the things that are. And we spend so much time looking away from one another, we miss each other. Especially now in this charged political time, like gay people and trans people didn't just pop up overnight. Women didn't suddenly start demanding rights overnight. People of color didn't start getting abused and neglected overnight. All of these things, we're many of us treat as if they're brand new, and it's shaking the fabric of reality and going to destroy the world we believe in, when none of it's new. Pain isn't new. Struggle isn't new. We just have decided, many of us, that we don't, if it's not ours, then if it's not our baggage, we're not going to carry it. And we've forgotten just the fact that the only way humanity moves forward is by helping one another and by taking a bag or two that aren't yours, by lessening the load of another. It's not that people are trying to take what's yours. It's that they want what they need. So it's like, yes, collectively we all give something to the greater, like, good, because we gain one another. I'd rather lose stuff than lose humanity. And I'm sure, people are going to go, oh my God, that's socialism. That's it. Whatever, call it whatever you want. I don't care. The fact is that we're losing too many people. The fact is that we're neglecting too many people. We're looking away from too many people. Mental illness isn't going away. We just don't want to face it. We don't want to deal with it. People are weak and they're cowards, and they're just, when that's not the case. It's that sometimes the burden gets too heavy, and we just don't have a society that makes us feel like we can ask people to help lighten the load. And it's hard. The arts, like I say, are a great way to do that, though. And that's why I'll always kind of say, like, if you have a story to tell it. If you have something, if you have something that draws you, do it. I mean, if I can make a movie, anybody can. If I can write a book, anyone can. If I can take a photo, anyone can. Now, it's becoming an expert, becoming, like, proficient at it. All of that takes time. But the initial skill, like, that's something you develop. You can do. You can sing. Like, you can write a song. It doesn't make it great. Time, effort, understanding, knowledge. Like, there's a lot of things that go into making it great. But you can do it. You can start. And all of that can help you kind of get through these dark times. I mean, were it not for writing, I don't know where I'd be. I wouldn't be who I am, and I wouldn't be where I'm at. If it wasn't for, daring to dream and take chances, I wouldn't have the friends I have right now. I wouldn't have had, like, the experiences I've had. I would have missed out on so many things. And I would hate that. And I sure as heck know that I've gone through some stuff, because we all do. I would definitely have picked a better year than 44. But it is what it is, and it's the struggles that make us stronger. And again, that's another thing we forget, is it's the more we survive, the stronger and smarter we are, the better we get. This world is about taking care of one another. Like, whatever your faith, whatever your political background, it's about taking care of one another and taking care of this world. It's about handing this world forward to the next generation. It's not about sucking it dry. It's not about getting yours. It's not about getting rich. It's about taking care of yourselves and taking care of one another. Because when we die, that money doesn't mean a thing. Like, it's cool to take care of your loved ones. That's not what I mean. But, like, having a big sack of money at the end doesn't mean a damn thing if you're alone. And at the end, we're all alone. But, like, you don't have to be emotionally alone. Like, you can be loved. You can be embraced. And we're reaching a point societally where we're pushing one another away more than anything. And again, I get it. There's a lot that's going on. There's a lot that's changing. But we're at a point where we have to start asking ourselves what matters. Like, a party, money, fame, or one another. I've lost too many people too young to kind of that dark side that's in all of us, and that's a shame. It's a shame that people feel the need to escape in the worst way possible. And we should work harder to make this a better world, because it can be. We're in a dark place right now. Whatever you believe, we're in a dark place. But as long as we have one another, as long as we kind of reach out to one another from the darkness, we kind of build that chain, and we can pull one another through. Life's always going to have struggles. Life's always going to have ups and downs. It's going to have pain and sorrow. We're all going to mess up. That's just life. It's part learning kind of who you are and what life is, and part just kind of overcoming yourself. We all screw up. That's what life is. But it's how we move forward from screwing up. What we do next, that's what defines us. We lose too many people, and too many people are lost thinking that their absence doesn't matter, and their absence does, because we're all part of one collective. The smallest kindness can grow to be an immense gift, and the smallest cruelty can live forever. And we need to think and remember about all of that as we move through our day and our life. Because as we lose one another, we're losing ourselves. We're isolating ourselves. And, again, with the arts, that's a way to reach out to one another. And it's a shame that people aren't remembering that. And I guess it's for all of us that do kind of create things to remind them. Even something silly, even a pop song, a horror movie, like a painting of a smiling face. If it gives joy, if it makes you feel something, then it makes you feel everything. So whatever you're going through, friend, I hope you know that you'll survive it, and that if it feels like you won't, that you have people in your world, in your life, that you can reach out to and say, hey, I need help. It's the hardest thing in the world to do. It's going to be harder than going through whatever you're going through, but there's too much to life, too much joy to have, too much impact to make. The future needs us. It needs us to be strong, and we can't give up. That's just not an option. And I hope you won't, my friend. And I will talk more about weird horror stuff next time. I have StokerCon coming up, so I'm sure I will ruminate about that in some capacity. If you want to read any of my ramblings or check out my short horror fiction or my weird fairy tale books, you can find my stuff at spookychris.com. Have a great day. Take care of yourself.